2013, July 2013. We had nothing else to do. We got on a Ouija board for fun.
So part 2 of the Ouija board and 7 and all that stuff. Now we're going to get more into it. I talked in the last video. If you want to hear some context about things, go see that one. But I'm going to talk about what's going on here specifically, like what they're talking about, from the perspective of someone who does automatic writing and things like that, and how I talked about in the last video how it's incredibly similar, and it has to do with us getting in touch through our energy. And we're always doing this, and that's why when people put fear into, not this creator, but people that are afraid of Ouija boards or people are afraid of these things, when we put fear on that, we're doing all these things all the time anyway. It's just that this is helping us focus. That's all that, what's going on. So anyway, we're going to get into it. Firstly, I think it's in the third video, or fourth, I can't remember. She covers how she, after a while, contacting Seven over and over again, they said, stop doing this because you are basically, you can find the answers yourself and it's limiting and things like that. So they basically say that. They also can sense that, she's freaked out. And so they say over and over again that God is good and things like that. So these are cases of basically when you're speaking with an energy, they obviously are going to use the knowledge and the words that you know, but if you are afraid, they're going to have to use that language as well. So just because they talk about God, just because they talk about those things, they know that that is the closest to something that would help reassure this person. So even the creator in one of the videos says that they believe in God. That is going to make them feel better, right? And if they believe in God, I'm sure that, we're not immune to people being weird about demons and stuff and not knowing about demons. And so that's what people want to make sure, right? So that's the first thing is, that's what's going on with that. And this is very close to because I'm constantly doing this, and if everybody's curious, you can listen to my podcast and things like that. This is constantly in my life all the time. When you work on this, if you want to work on this, you literally are that Ouija board. You are the automatic writing. You are a telephone, basically, because you're listening to the stuff that's always happening. We are like radios. So if you start to turn, not turn on because it's already on. If you start to listen to your radio and you use these techniques to finally be able to just do it without anything, you can do it in meditation, even all these things. People say hypnosis, but I still think hypnosis and all that kind of work is still the same thing. It is basically a tool to get you to that point. But you can not even need any of that stuff eventually. Like it's your normal day life, and it's very subtle, it's not annoying, and you can push it away. Now for the part that is not subtle and not away. So when she talks about the world ending, this is when you have to understand words. So the word world to this energy means the dimension or realm, right? And ending doesn't exist with an energy that has not been born, which they say, right? And when an energy has not been born, that means that they are a big expanded energy. And I actually know that they've not just talked to this energy, they've talked to some of those Sumerian original energies. So they're not the actual gods, they're the original energies, because the information that's being provided is original energy information. And this is something that you can look at my content to find out, or ask me, and I can do a video again about original energies, but it's something that is kind of obvious. It's a big energy and it contains all those things. So it powers kind of those gods and those god job role and things like that. But anyway, so a lot of these energies will say the name of a god that people know, and they know that she doesn't know, but she knows of it, like enough that she can Google it and things like that. But they wouldn't even give a name, but they're giving names. So I'm going to get to that in a second. But when we're talking about the ending doesn't exist to them. Everything, when you see from their a bigger perspective, which is many perspectives instead of one, a human is one perspective. When you see from bigger perspective, you can do this in meditation, and I'm going to do some guided meditations to help people with this. You can see from a many, perspectives. And what it looks like is a transformation. It never looks like an end. But a human does not understand that. If you say transformation, they're worried you're not going to understand the importance of it. They want you to feel the importance. This happens a lot with dream work as well. Sometimes our energy as a human is needed in another version of us while we're sleeping. And we will have to feel very human, normal things because that is what we have to offer to participate. And this is the same thing with this. So the urgency of how important this is basically, that's what it is. It's that urgency. So the language, if I were anybody who likes this video or is interested and they're not just doing entertainment and they really are taking it seriously and they want to expand and learn more about themselves, including the person who created this video and had the experience with her husband, I really recommend you expanding on all the words that you think are kind of like weird, where you're like for example, end of the world, basically. That's like a bit weird and dramatic, right? And especially when you add in the context of what they say and things like that, right? Okay, so it's, from their perspective, it's a transformation. And to be honest, if you guys are gonna do automatic writing, or you're gonna keep doing this, or contacting energies, make sure that you deconstruct those words before you go ask again, because all you're going to do is just keep getting the same information, which I got to see because she flipped it and I looked at some of the stuff. It's not just what she said. I saw some other things. She basically does that, where she's like, well, what about this? What about that? Where, the clarification. And so when you clarify like that, you want to make sure that the clarification is not going to go to a new topic. You want it to be clarified, right? So you have to clarify how you think just as much as you clarify with that. So like I said, she doesn't even need to go to a Ouija board again. She can go inside. So this is the part that is for the creator. If she sees this, I don't know, she's pretty popular right now, but these are your energies, not just you, but also your husband, both of them. And you are connected. You are a contact. So that's also part of it. So contacts are humans that are anchors right now and share energy with bigger energies that are doing all kinds of stuff. When we come to Earth, I'm going to do a video after this that is about when people talk about contracts. The contract is for the bigger energy that you're anchoring in. As a human, you do whatever you want, and you might have things bleed into your physical life, and you might want to get involved. Like me, I got really involved, and my energies are always like, calm down, but I can't help it because it's so intense, like that urgency. And so what happens is they contact you, but they know you're being a human if they contact you. Like, like you were trying to like hang out and maybe see ghosts or whatever, right? But they took it seriously. They're like, this is an opportunity to let you know. And so by you understanding this, you don't have to do anything. It's just you are like, look how you posted on TikTok. It pushes that, whatever they're working on. So you don't have to do anything. And that's why they keep saying that you don't have to do anything. It's the fact that you understand it sends ripples, because your energy that's bigger is doing all these things. Now, the numbers are the numbers of the planets, but it's a representation of very complicated things that I've talked about in my podcast about planets. And like I said, all of these things align with that. So if you guys want to look at that, that will help too. The latest one, and there's another one that's coming out. And then really quick before the TikTok video ends, because who knows if people want to know more. Also in my podcast, I talk about the learning teaching dimension, and they are talking about the learning teaching dimension when they say apathy grows without limitations. The experiments are trials of these dimensions of what energies like human that want to be humans, which ones go into what, and if it works, and things like that. And I discuss that in my thing. So when they say apathy grows without limitations, if you don't have limitations, you get bored, basically. That's what they're saying. And that's what the learning teaching dimension is. Why that matrix is created. Armor is learning who you truly are. Battle-proof is that nothing external can change who you are. Cassandra, you're connected to Enki. Whoever Brittany, Nancy, and Paul are. Brittany is Enlil. Nancy is Ningursag, which I am as well. And Paul is An. Sometimes you're talking to Seven, sometimes you're talking to those energies. You'll be able to tell